What's going on, everybody? LK here, and today some Guilty Gear Strive. So, since we have the roadmap for Guilty Gear Strive Season 2, one thing that we've been kind of memeing about is that winter is coming. There is a patch coming in winter. So the official Season 2 patch started in summer. They're patching the game again in winter, so 6 months. The only thing is, we don't know how big of a patch this is going to be. In Season 1, we got a handful of small patches along with one major patch we got, I want to say, last October. So October 2021 was probably like the first major patch for the game, and then we didn't have another big patch for Guilty Gear Strive until June 10th. So we have no idea what they're planning on doing to the game. I wanted to share my thoughts on what I would like to see, basically my wish list for the patch. So where I want to start is, despite thoughts on individual characters, I'm not even gonna sugarcoat it, honestly. I've talked shit about mad characters in the game. I actually feel pretty good about the system mechanics in general. Despite wanting some balance changes personally, I had to remind people of this because sometimes people they lose their mind when I talk about certain characters. Even if I detest a character, it doesn't necessarily mean I want the character to be nerfed. I'm just talking about what I like and don't like about the character. Let's keep it real. I'm mostly talking about what I don't like about the character. Out of the system mechanics they added in this patch, I thought the one that was the most worrisome was the changes to fast RC combined with positive bonus. For those of you that don't know, they added a change to System 2 where fast roaming cancels lets you keep a portion of the meter that you spend on it. So roaming canceling costs 50 meters. So your standard roaming cancel will just cost 50. So whether it's red RC, blue RC, purple RC, or yellow RC, these will all cost 50 meter. However, if you fast RC, you'll keep a portion of it. So an easy example, I play Baiken. So we have Yo Zansen. This is her instant overhead. So it's a very, very fast overhead that you can't combo off of normally, but with meter you can. So if I spend 50 the normal way, I'll just get like this type of thing into whatever, like fine. But if I fast roam and cancel it and you look at my meter, so you notice I keep a little bit of it. And the faster you do it, the more meter you keep. So combined with positive bonus, you can spend your fast RC, not have a meter penalty, and be gaining meter constantly. Not all characters are that great at doing it, but if you haven't seen it before, characters like Ram and Chip use this very often. But it's really easy to show off with Geo, so I'm just going to show off a non-match example. So I was worried about this thing at the start, however, it's not that effective for many characters. You mainly see it with like two characters, like I mentioned, Ram and Chip. The other characters like Nago, Anji, Milia has an okay one, but it's not like as prevalent as I thought it was going to be. And outside of like Ram, Nago, I kind of like how it helps establish a clear win condition for like Chip, for example. So what do I want to see? So let's start with system mechanics. So I would like them to have more air gatlings once again. They actually made a change to most characters where their jump punches and jump kicks launch a little higher. I wouldn't mind some more flexibility in between the two normals. The reason why I feel it a little bit more of the air gatlings compared to the ground gatlings. So you don't have P into K in general as a gatling option on the ground either, but you have P into command normals. So like Bikehead has like 6K, 6H, and 6P. Or Geo also has like 6P and 6H. She doesn't have a 6S or a 6K. But the thing is, air command normals are pretty rare. So what usually happens is like characters have PPPP, and then they have K into a button, and then they have SHD into each other. I think the way the Gatling structure is, since characters tend to have kick into dust, punch should have an additional Gatling that's not itself. There'll probably be some pretty interesting things people will be able to come up with by having the extra option or options, depending on how much they're willing to add. Then again, I definitely want one or two moves for each character like added. So ideally it's like one command normal and one special move. They can go crazy and add an extra super too, I think. All the existing characters have only gotten changes, not additions, since the game has come out. I think that will just freshen up the characters a little bit. Some characters have gotten stuff where they've like opened up the move. So I think Nago is a good example of this. When the game came out, this was just one move, but then they changed it so that you could follow up this by pressing an additional button. This kind of opened up the move and gave new uses to a move that was originally just kind of like combo fodder. Another way to think of it would be like, imagine Baiken came out when the game came out, and this was just one move you always had to do, and then in a later patch they changed it so you could follow up the kabari by pressing another button. That's kind of the same idea. Soul has this as well in Bandit Revolver. Another thing I'd like them to look at is looking at how characters build meter and build risk. This one's a little bit selfish. It's mostly how I feel about like fighting heavies and how I feel about Milia. Milia has like all her like legacy system weaknesses. So in every Guilty Gear game, Milia has like builds risk faster than you, doesn't build meter fast, but it's usually fine because either the game has 25 meter options, a flawless defense is a little bit stronger, pushes farther away, and you have like instant block and stuff to deal with stuff. She's not really made to like block and win from defense, really. She's supposed to win from like mobility and with punishing you and things like that. But since this game is based off 50 meter, I feel like she's really struggling because you actually do get a good amount of meter for getting hit, but she has the second lowest life, and then she builds risk really fast, so she never has the opportunity to have that benefit. I think for like characters like Nago and Gold Lewis, like they have all this HP. Potemkin too, this helps Potemkin. He kind of needs it, so this is like tricky to balance. Like in Potemkin's case, he definitely needs it because he's so struggling on defense, and he needs that to get his one chance to win. But Nago doesn't really need to just get meter for free while you're beating him up because he has the second most HP out of everyone. So I kind of want them to tone down meter gain on hit or scale it so that the characters who die really quickly gain meter a little bit faster, and the characters who have a ton of HP gain meter a little bit slower when they're getting hit. But outside of those small points, I'm mostly looking for balance changes, I guess. Like I said at the beginning, I mostly am cool with the system mechanics. The last game I played in tournaments was Dragon Ball FighterZ really hard, and I was always like, yo, like I just have so much problems with the system mechanics in this game, between like how good the knockdowns were, how strong tag was, how annoying super dash is. And super dash, I thought that one was an easy fix. I was like, just give characters better anti-airs and I wouldn't complain so much about super dashing and stuff. Where in this game, I don't really have problems with the system mechanics really. Even balance wise, the game has basically been fine. The only issues have usually been just the top tiers are just like too good. In my opinion, the character that should be the line for this game of how good your character is and how they should balance around is actually Testament. I think Testament is the perfect character in this game. I think Testament is really fun, really interesting, has potential, lots of stuff to develop, really strong in their good situations, but not overwhelming in their bad situations. I don't think there's a Testament player that ever feels like their character's too weak. They never feel like they're out of the game. Like, Testament's way of winning, I think, is pretty reasonable. They have to set up Stain on you, and then they become overwhelming. So it's like there's like an extra step you need to take to become like really powerful. So in my head, Testament, they are the ideal. And to be fair to Testament, there's a lot of characters I think that are around or either slightly above or slightly below where Testament is, and I think that's fine. So basically, the characters I'm looking at the most are the characters I'm like, oh, this character is definitely way better than... even saying way is like a little bit too much, but this character is better than Testament, and this character is worse than Testament by a significant amount, are the ones you'd have to look at the most. For example, I'm looking out for my colleagues here, wink wink, but... like Zato, I think, is in a pretty good spot. You don't really, honestly, have to touch Zato. Like, when Zato is strong, we all know he's really strong. And where Zato is weak, we're like, yeah, he's done. Like, he can't handle this. He's gonna die really fast, whatever. Well, a character I would say you'd have to look at, for example, would be like Ino. Or, I mean, more obvious would be like Potemkin. Like, Potemkin, however you feel about other characters and other people's takes, I think basically everyone agrees that Potemkin is the worst. You know, I'm not a fan of this character, and I could definitely be like, this character is struggling at the moment. He definitely needs help. He's really good at what he does, but he can't get there. And then when he's weak, he's really weak. So, and at the other end of the spectrum, you have the usual suspects, basically since the game has come out. Out of these is Nago, Happy Chaos, Ramathal, and Leo Whitefang. Out of these, Leo is probably the most reasonable out of all of them. I never thought I would hear myself saying this, but that is really how I'm feeling. So it's probably more of looking at the other three to kind of come into line. Let me know what you guys think. What are you guys looking forward to in the winter patch? We're already almost there. If it comes in December or January, it's only like a month or two away. As usual, if you guys have any questions or comments, definitely feel free to leave them in the comment section below. Like and subscribe if you guys feel like it, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace out.